How's it going, folks? I wanted to do a quick recap of the UFC Freedom 250 card and just kind of my overall thoughts. And I'm just going to go down the list here, starting with Diego Lopez and Steve Garcia. That basically went exactly like how I was expecting it to. Steve Garcia was going to come in really aggressively, and he might even do well in the first two rounds. I actually expected Lopez to catch him a little bit earlier. I mean, he did catch him in round two, but I expected him to catch him in like round one. But credit to Garcia, he did kind of like piece him up in round one too. Let's be fair here. And then Lopez did eventually get the KO over him in round two. Bo Nickel versus Kyle Daukaus. Kyle Daukaus was, is a bit of an enigma, really, because he is not. I refuse to say that he's a pure trash can fighter, because he's not. He has knockouts over pretty decent fighters, so he's not a total can or nothing. I just think Bo is just pretty good, and kind of went by exactly like how my prediction went. Bo would keep on just faking with the takedown, and he'd even be able to secure a takedown with him. And Daukaus wouldn't exactly be too out of his. He wouldn't be out of his depths necessarily, because he knows how to grapple decently, but ain't no way he's going to be shooting a shot on him or totally stuffing one. But eventually, in round one, the ref did stand him up, and that's where Bo, because again he was constantly just quickly kind of faking, throwing a little quick feints with like he's going to throw a takedown, and boom, catches him, and he gets a lovely TKO victory over Kyle Daukaus, and that was great there. Now we finally got revenge over the nightmare, which was Michael Chandler versus Tony Ferguson, and I predicted Mauricio Rufy to utterly annihilate Michael Chandler. I thought he would, if Chandler fought smart, that he would have a higher success, a chance of success. I would say I completely overestimated Chandler's ability to even go for takedowns, because the takedowns that he even attempted to do, where there was no setup, just absolutely like, hey, I'm going to take, you might as well just announce that you're taking the guy down. You might as well be like, hey, Rufy, I'm going to take you down. Come over here. What the fuck? And so, yeah, Rufy got, and Rufy like hit through like a few, like I would say maybe two or three lovely wheel kicks on him, and just the overall clinic from Mauricio Rufy. Got a really nice KO in round one, TKO. And I don't think Chandler should necessarily just retire at the instantly. I think give him like an Unk battle, just another. Give him Beneil Dariush. All right, let's and both of them retire. Okay, give Michael Chandler and Beneil Dariush a fight. Beneil is probably going to get knocked out, just before the fight even starts, right? But just let the Yunks fight it out, and both of them retire, and they can have their little nice, presentation of this, Michael Chandler has been part of the UFC for X amount of years now, and Dariush, blah blah blah. They can have their little send off. Heavyweight, this is the first L I took on the card, and to be fair, I did say that this was a completely irrational, just completely irrational pick by me, picking Derek Lewis, and it's mostly because, I am from the South, so I do like watching Derek Lewis, and completely disappointed me with that performance, and he really should hang it up, but he's getting paid quite a bag from the UFC, so I don't blame him. And Josh Hogan just completely steamrolled him. Absolute. He just, I don't even know, just fucking ragdolled his ass, whooped him. Anyways, so Sean O'Malley versus Ariel Helwani, and Sean O'Malley wins in round two with a knockout. This one was like my lock of the card. Who the heck was actually picking Amin Zahabi, bro? If you were picking Amin Zahabi to beat Sean, are you serious? Anyways, who? Okay. Alex Pereira versus Ciryl Gane. Yeah. I give this a 50-50 in my predictions, and I was very gun shy to give the edge to Gon because, but in hindsight, everything I said in the prediction kind of went out. Like, Alex he's lacking in defense. He just has a fundamental lack in defense, in striking defense. And that is what makes him really fun to watch, because he's pure, just all gas, no brakes, But it does leave him open. And also in, like, situations where, like, he is not able to apply pressure, he kind of just stands there and he's basically a sitting duck to get eaten by, to eat jabs, basically, right on his dome. And that is what happened. And at heavyweight, he's finally fighting a dude that has a pretty significant, just a pretty decent, reach advantage on him. And, Alex, again, he just kept on throwing looping punches, and he just looks, first of all, he's slow, throwing a looping punch on Ciryl Gane, who's insanely quick compared to Alex especially at heavyweight, was a nightmare because, Ciryl was just dodging most of everything that Alex threw at him. And then, it's been said so many times, straight punches beat looping punches. It's just physics. It's just facts. And that is what happened. Gane drops him with a straight punch down the pipe. And, another thing that Alex was doing that I really said I wish he wouldn't have done. There's a lot of things I wish he wouldn't have done, but, I can make a whole video on that. I actually will make a whole video on that, like what Alex should do from here on out, what I would like for him to do, and what he should have done. Like, I don't know, man. There's a lot of, man, I'm just gonna make a whole dedicated video on that. But yeah, like just throwing naked leg kicks against a southpaw fighter like Ciryl Gane with the speed that Ciryl Gane has. What? It just feels like Alex Pereira and both Illia Topuria fought with like just immense amounts of negative fight IQ. Like it just, especially with Illia, I'm like, I'll get to him. But it's just like absolutely disgusting levels of bad fight IQ. And I hate to say this about Alex, man. I love Alex Pereira. But I don't want to see Alex get whooped up like that, man. Come on. I don't want to see that. But I had to see that because Ciryl Gane was that good. There is like that thing. Another thing, here's the thing about Ciryl Gane, which I'll give some context about me and my opinions on Ciryl Gane. I actually was especially when he was undefeated and he was going up against Francis, I was a big fan of this guy. I was like, this dude is the shit. And I thought he actually personally won the fight with Francis. I still, to this day, I still think that fight was given the wrong decision. I think Ciryl Gane won against Francis Ngannou. So in a way, he should have been the champ. And then he got absolutely steamrolled with John Jones. I don't know what the heck happened there. Like that was just, I mean, yeah, he does have an insane deficit in takedown defense apparently, but like, I don't even know. That was just so sus. It was just weird. Anyways. And then, what I know he was always kind of a dirty fighter because, yeah, with the Tai Tuivasa fight, he did hit him on the back of the head and all that. But I was, human psychology is quite interesting. When it's a fighter that you're an insane fan of, right? When you're an insane fan of a fighter and they do something that objectively is a foul, you kind of let it slide because it's like, hey, it's my favorite fighter. But then, Tom Aspinall came around, and I also like Tom. So whenever Tom and Ciryl fought, I was like, these are both fighters that I really like to fight. Not like to fight. I would like to see them fight. And, God, those double eye pokes. And it's just, he's done that too many times in fights. So it's kind of hard for me to, like, root for this guy. And then with this fight, he just threw so many back of the head shots. I just think, and he's done that before. He did it to, Junior Dos Santos, and it's hard for me to root for this guy because I want to, because every single time I see a Ciryl Gane interview, I'm like, this guy's cool, Really, he's cool. Outside of the cage, it's kind of interesting. With John Jones inside the cage, it's like, well, this dude's cool. Outside of the cage, get the fuck away from me, please. Ciryl Gane inside the cage, this guy might kill me. Outside of the cage, this dude's really chill, and he dances really, really well. It's just quite strange. I don't know. But yeah, Ciryl Gane, insanely good heavyweight fighter. I think he's just getting better and better. And I do him and Tom Aspinall, the rematch. I'm actually going to lean towards Ciryl Gane this time around. I think he's just getting better and better. And again, of course, I'll make a more dedicated video on that whenever that happens. But just, off the top of my head, I do think Ciryl Gane is probably the best heavyweight in the division right now. Okay, now for the main event, Illia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. Now, I give this a 80% chance of victory for Illia and a 20% for Justin Gaethje. Although, I am not angry about this at all because I wanted Justin Gaethje to win. I just thought this entire week, I was just absolutely nervous. Because, come on, guys. I mean, this guy was undefeated. The way he was just going through the competition. Knocks out Volkanovski. Was sure, Volkanovski was coming off of a knockout with Islam. Sure, fine. But then he knocks out Max Holloway, right? And then I've seen people try to be like, okay, Max did cut weight. I mean, I get it, sure, all right. But he still knocked him out. He's the first guy to knock him out, you know what I mean? Then moves up and just starches. I almost said Francis Ngannou. Starches Charles Oliveira. No one's ever done that like that. And it wasn't even like this. It wasn't even like, the fight went on and it was like, a combination of punches. It was like he was colded with one punch, basically, and the second punch was just purely academic. It was bad. He colded Olives, and that really hurt to see because I am a Oliveira fan. If you're not an Oliveira fan, I don't know what the heck's wrong with you. But Justin Gaethje, I know is durable, but I thought maybe after the Max fight and with all the wars he's been in, maybe he's not going to be that durable. But I'm glad to say he is, and he did indeed change Illia Topuria's face. Oh my goodness. Illia is relatively young. He's 29, he's still got a few months, January is still a good bit away. So he's still under 30. But the amount of concussive damage that he just took in this fight, I am nervous for his career. Not just because, okay, let's say if the damage was purely at surface level, right? And there's no actual damage to his ability to take a punch, right? Physically wise, his actual brain, chin, and all that. How is this mentally going to affect this dude? I've always wondered this about Illia because, this is a pure statistics game, right? Khabib even has said this, I know he retired undefeated, but Khabib himself also has even said that if you just keep on fighting, eventually you're going to lose. That's just going to happen. You are going to lose, You can't, to be 100%, it's impossible. You're going to lose eventually. So if someone with the mentality that's the whole celebrating before, I think there's something to say about not being too stressed out before a fight or an exam or anything that you're going to do that requires effort, right? There is a good argument to make that you shouldn't be too overly stressed. Yes. But here's another argument. If you're going with complete cortisol depletion, right? If your cortisol is just gone, right? I feel that's just as worse in the opposite direction. So if you're already celebrating, drinking, having fun time, and being oh, I won, and then the next day is your fight. I don't know if he was drinking. I just said that, but let's say he was just partying, right? And the next day is his fight. Psychologically, you just had a massive cortisol dump, the night before and you're already chilling. Meanwhile, your opponent, especially with someone like Gaethje, has the proper amount, right? That killer instinct is still there. And you can see that with the fight, man. Illia comes in, throws all caution to the wind. He has zero respect for what is coming from Justin Gaethje. This has to be the worst fight IQ I have ever seen from any champion in lightweight. I don't want to say like ever, because that's not true. I mean, Bilal Muhammad literally did try to box with, anyways. So like I still think that this is one of the worst fight IQ moments that I have ever seen from any champion at lightweight. Why on earth? Like, even if you think you're gonna just steamroll this guy, why are you accepting to just take his jabs? That makes absolutely no sense. He was just for as long as he could, especially in the beginning of the round, he just went in with the mindset that, hey, I ain't even going to move my head, son. I'm going to just eat your jab. What the fuck? Are you retarded? Are you this stupid, Topuria? Are you this? And it's like there's no head movement. There's no head movement. All right? To quote Ronda Rousey's coach, there was no head movement. Now, if you compare Illia, Illia's never had, I think I've said this in my prediction video as well, he's gotten hit quite a bit. Like, the idea that Illia is this elite boxer that has amazing defense and offense, that's just not the case. Illia, I'll tell you what Illia Topuria is. Illia Topuria is the classic textbook example of the grappler who found out he had good power and good, technique with his offense, and he fell in love with that. And now it's biting him in the ass. It just is, because he has the offensive, yes, he's got it, but defensively he leaves himself open big time. And this screenshot right here. Now, when he's just like throwing it off on Max Holloway, as you can see, his chin is right. Like, I get it. Like, fundamentally, he is like, there is major power in his hands, and he's going there to crack you up. But look at this. Max Holloway is anyone with good defense. The point I'm trying to make is, like, Max, he was able to at least roll away with those punches, right? Now, eventually he did catch Max, right? But that was only because, he got lucky with that, and he does have power in his hands. So yeah, he does have the ability to do that. But again, at least even in that fight, bro, he was not just, look at his face. He was still doing the normal thing to do, which is to dodge punches. He was not just sitting purely, in a linear, motion, just absorbing all of Max Holloway's jabs. That was not what was happening. If the way he fought Justin Gaethje, which is where he just bum rushed them, came right in, and had zero head move, if he did that with Max Holloway would have slept his ass. He would have whooped him. He was so bad. And now then there's the other argument to make, that what if Illia Topuria had not fought retarded? What would have happened then? I think it would have been way more competitive, and I think he probably would have won, to be fair, because here's another thing. Even with this pathetic negative IQ performance he made, I'm saying the beginning, round one, was negative, but he has shown like even double digits negative IQ in this fight. So let's go on even further. So this is off the top of my head. So I think it was round 2 or round 3 where he just hit Justin, bomb to the liver, just boom boom boom, and Justin's like, oh, he's just absolutely cooked, right? What does Illia do? And he's on the ground. What does Illia do? Does he take the top position and just go for a ground and pound, which, would be fine. But, if you know your opponent is already hurt and you're fucking him up on the feet, stand him up. Why are you going for submissions when you're both sweaty, it's humid as fuck out there, and going for a pathetic armbar attempt? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then keep in mind, I'm glad he did all this because I wanted Justin Gaethje to win really, really bad. So I'm happy that Gaethje won. I'm glad that he made these negative IQ mistakes. So it kind of worked out for me as a Gaethje fan. But just saying, because I would like to, because Gaethje's only going to be here for a while. So I'm trying to see the future of the sport. Kind of, this is not a good look. And so he keeps on going, and then again, another thing that he was doing was he was just biting on he was either just completely biting on all of the feints that Gaethje was giving him, or he was just he was biting on all the feints that Gaethje was giving him, and on top of that, he was not adapting properly at all. So Gaethje would basically fake with a takedown and hit him. He would throw a straight punch, and then eventually, I think Topuria kind of got the idea that he's doing that, but then eventually what Gaethje would do is he would fake for a takedown, and then that would cause Topuria to lean down and get freaking uppercutted to the face. You know what I'm saying? Over and over and over again. And yeah. In hindsight, Paddy Pimblett did way better. What the fuck? In hindsight, Paddy Pimblett did way better. It kind of shows, man, that even if you got all the talent in the world, if you ain't got the fight IQ, if you ain't got the respect for your opponent, you're gonna get clapped. If we talk about someone, and I know the fan base can be quite brutal, but if we talk about someone like Islam, I guarantee you, even if you don't like Islam Makhachev, if you don't like him, just listen. He ain't coming into a fight giving zero respect to his opponent. Even if he's fighting someone like Bobby Green, he's gonna obviously shoot for the takedown. He's gonna obviously set it up. He ain't gonna just be dumb about it and get Ben Askren, Jorge Masvidal dome to the head. You know what I'm saying? So he's gonna try to set it up, maybe stand on the feet for a little bit, and then boom. He ain't gonna try to make this a slugfest like how Topuria is just coming in and guaranteeing all this shit. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of shows with all of the tough fights that Islam had, But and the only reason I bring him up is because skill for skill, I think they're not that far off. I think this is kind of a hot take to say now, especially because Topuria lost. But skill for skill, talent-wise, they're not that far off at all. But IQ-wise, mentality-wise, there's a big difference. And with this loss, we really kind of get to see what kind of mentality Illia Topuria really has. This is his first ever defeat. And if he's able, there's one of two things that's going to happen now. Either one, of course, he has to take at least a year, maybe, or probably a year, right? So however long it takes, he's got to recover. And when he comes back, either one of the two things is going to happen. Either one, he's going to be never making this foolish mistake ever again, and always, be very still confident, but respect his opponents, even if he thinks that they are not that talented. Let's say if he's fighting Arman Tsarukyan and Arman Tsarukyan blows out his back again, and then it gets replaced with Bobby Green. Do not just go in there and just try to steamroll Bobby Green, because anything can happen, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I keep picking on Bobby Green, but anyway, you know what I'm saying? Anything can happen in a fight. So it's just, you got to be smart. You got to be doing that. Now, the other thing that could happen with someone like Illia, someone who's already always been I'm not going to lose. I'm never going to lose. It's just again, I don't know if it's just an act. It doesn't seem like it's an act, but he genuinely does seem like he believes that he's going to be bestowed this victory from some divine intervention or something. And he's doing like an HBO documentary already. I don't know why. Like what the fuck? Okay. He's already doing that, you know. I'm going to make a dedicated video on definitely Alex Pereira, maybe Illia Topuria, but definitely for Alex, because yeah, I really think there's a few things Alex really should do if he wants to stick it out at heavyweight. And honestly, he's 38. I think he's about to be 39, or if maybe he's just 38. I think he does beat most of the people at heavyweight. I really do think that Ciryl Gane was the worst stylistic matchup for him. Him and maybe Tom. Hot take, I think he can beat Hokit. With the right game plan, I think he can beat Hokit. You know, I think that's not like and I think Hokit even knows this. Like, Hokit is not a fool, you know. He may seem like a fool or whatever, but he knows this is not going to be an easy fight. And again, every single fight is a game of statistics. It's not a yes or no. It's not binary. It never is. So when I think someone is going to win, I think statistically they have more favorable odds. Now it could be 50-50. It could be 60-40. It could be close, right? So I think Alex Pereira is favorable, but it's close. So it's not going to be like a 70-30 or 80-20. I think it'd be something like a 60-40, right? It'd be close. So I think if, you know, Josh Hokit obviously has the grappling advantage and all that. So, you know, and Josh Hokit would also, you know, understand this, and he would come in with knowing this, and he would not fight like a retard, Illia Topuria. And who knows, maybe he is able to really pull it off. So yeah, look out for that video sometime this week. Probably tomorrow. All right. Well, anyways, see ya.